Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Guess who's back in the building? It is your boy Braylon, man. Welcome back. Ermanni and Edwards with my guy Anson. Braylon, Tom Masway's over there, so is Ricky and Pete. Ladies and gentlemen, did you miss me?
Yes.
In the words of Varnell Hill, if you watch Martin Lawrence. What's up, Anson?
I missed you.
Okay.
I definitely did. Had a great time at the Mark Wahlberg Celebrity Classic on Monday. In fact, they blessed us with some shirts and stuff, so I'm going to be giving those out today, tomorrow, and the next day. Got Boris Brejcha, one of the largest tech house DJs in the world, at the Russell Industrial Center this weekend. So if you want to go, hit me up on my Twitter. But it's great to have you back, and boy, we got a show today.
Oh, we definitely have a show today. I'll let Maz explain what the show is. Maz, I'll catch you up real quick. Monday golf outing, NFL alumni.
Where at?
It was at Walnut Creek.
Okay.
Walnut Creek, right under South Lyon, kind of where South Lyon and Novi meet. Maz, I was this close to going to an all expenses paid for a trip to Vegas. So what they do at these NFL alumni outings, welcome into the chat, good to see you guys, be with you guys, is each team, each city, so Lions, Detroit, you get it's 32 cities, 32 outings, 32 winners, they all go to Vegas,
Nice.
and the winner gets this extravagant package with monies and trips and all these kind of things. So the team that I played on, there are 3 course starts, so there are 3 teams that make it to the playoffs at the end. My team finished runner-up, so you know what? Our course, it's over. Not so fast. One of the teams that was playing in it, shout out to Rob Sims, who was alumnus of the year. One of the teams playing in it, their celeb left. They caught me in the parking lot, putting my clubs into my truck. They said, "Hey, can you play?" Sure, I can play. Put me on a team. It's a par 5 guys. Each guy has a designated shot. Maz, they put me at the driver. I asked to be the approach shot because I've been hitting my approach shot much better. There was a gentleman that screamed at me. He said, "Hey, I've been hitting this approach shot really good. I can get on the pin from wherever. All you got to do is just get me in the fairway." I said, "Okay, this is what you guys asked for. I'll drive." Fresh off the parking lot, smoke one right down the middle of the fairway. BSU not. Don't you know he hit it in the sand on our second shot?
He put too much pressure on himself.
We got a good out of the sand. We ended up parring the hole. We tied with another team. One team out. We ended up losing the second hole, and we missed. So I missed it by this much twice. But I had fun. Last night, Kendrick Lamar was in the building with SZA. I was there as well. You was there, Ricky?
Yeah, I was there.
Talk about it. What was your experience with the show?
Kendrick Lamar. It was a dope show altogether. I'm not a huge SZA fan because most of her music is about hating men. But funny story. We got there. My wife had to go to the bathroom. I was on my way to the bathroom. She goes in. As soon as I go to walk, shout out to Elijah. Stopped me. He goes, "Hey, you from Woodward Sports, ain't you?"
There you go.
He watches us all the time. Said he loves us, and he has to be a dedicated fan because he recognized Mike number 5 at the concert.
Yeah.
So he got to be a fan. Shout out to Elijah. The concert was dope. I had a great time. I got to sit down during SZA's set because I didn't really. That was all. But I think Kendrick did a great job. How'd you like it?
This is what I say about it. I love the production value. I thought it could have been a little bit more. I think in a new era of concerts where everybody's putting out so much production, the video, the angles, the lighting, the camera, I think it was bare minimum, kind of basic. I don't ever have to see Kendrick again.
Facts.
But I don't. It's just I love the content. I love the conscientious rap. I love the symbolism. I love what he stands for. But if I'm gonna pay $400, which I didn't, sweet seats for free.
Yeah.
I need more. So it was a good experience, but it's a one-off for me.
Shout out to his backup dancers because they can kill it. He barely moves. Yeah, he's boring. Him and Rick Ross to me are 2 of the most boring people to see on stage because that stage was way too. First of all, it's way too big for him. He was tiny and he didn't move.
We have 2 guests today I'm excited about. 2 legends. One is a legend from the city of Detroit.
Yes, sir.
Legend from the city of Detroit. He went to Martin Luther King High School, but the only thing is, when he was there, it wasn't called that. It was Eastern High School. Then he went to Eastern University. He is a Detroit legend through and through. Oh, Maz.
Ice.
What you know about the Iceman cometh.
Love the Iceman.
George Gervin, the new coach of the Detroit Amps. He will be in
Detroit
studio.
Amps.
And Anson, we got another guest. He is one of the most underrated basketball players in the last 25 years.
No doubt.
He's a 20K, 5K guy, and one of the best low dribbles you will ever see. He also has a nickname, ISO, Joe Johnson.
Jesus Joe in the house.
100%. So
How
can't
about
wait to
that?
talk to them in the second hour. We'll talk about the big three. We'll talk George Gervin, City, Detroit, some other things. Also, type in some questions you may want us to ask. Get you guys involved in the interview.
The
So,
Iceman cometh, baby.
literally.
Man, I
Literally.
am so hyped.
Yeah.
This is like a childhood dream, man. I've always been a huge Gervin fan. You know, no disrespect to Joe because I loved his game as well. But, you know, when you're a kid in the 80s and you get a chance to watch some of that Iceman stuff, then you find out he's from Detroit.
Yeah.
And,
Ties all
boy,
back
the
in.
style era, and he was the king of style, man. I am geeked to have the Iceman in studio.
NBA Hall of Famer, ABA Hall of Famer. He's one of a kind, and a shot that everyone knows. He takes it from back here, and he was just unbelievable player. Just an unbelievable player. The finger roll, the whole 9 yards. Eastern Michigan's own, right? And the Spurs. The great George Gervin. And
Nope.
welcome into Joe Johnson as well, obviously.
And don't worry, we're going to nerd out.
And Dr. Pierce.
We're going to, hey, shout out to Dr. Pierce.
Fanboy
Doc's bringing him
nerd
in.
out.
I got a chance to hang out with him yesterday at the event. It was really a great event. Anthony told me, born in Detroit, they do a great job, man. Now they have the group, the partnership, the Detroit Amps, the game above. They're just bringing things to the city,
Yep.
and I'm starting to watch how they're moving. Very excited. Guys like Joe Johnson, they want to come back and partner. Even though George Gervin is from here, that doesn't mean you just come back and do something. You do it because it's the right people at the right time. So excited.
tell us about that league. For people that don't know the big three, do you guys follow it at all? Because I gotta be honest, I don't follow it. Who's the owner of the league?
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube's the league. Yeah, it's been around.
Yeah.
It's been around. I just don't know a heck of a lot about it. How many guys on a team? Obviously, it's 3-on-3, which was always phenomenal to watch as a kid. You know, you always wanted to play 3-on-3, 2-on-2. That was playground basketball, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, no, 100%. We'll get all those questions. We'll have them they will be in
Yep.
studio. I think Dawn will be with them. She's a representation for the Detroit Amps. So we'll get all those questions answered a little
Cool.
bit later. One question we don't need answered: who the best team in the MLB is? It is your
best boy.
Detroit Tigers. The concert started late, of course. You know how concerts are. I watched this game until about
It's
the
done
7th inning.
9:15.
I watched this game till about the 7th inning, and then I was all right, cool. We're in good hands. The game is over. But man, let's talk about what you saw. The Tigers, they
Yeah.
keep rolling. Still the best record in baseball. I want to say they're 8 games above the next team in the AL right now. They're
Hey,
kicking ass.
fantastic game, bullpen game again. And Gibson Long came in there. He almost threw 5 innings in the middle of this game. He is starting to show that he is going to be a very good pitcher in the long run for this team. Will Vest, sorry. Didn't want to give him the IE at the end of it. Will
Call
Vest
him Willie,
comes
that's his
in,
nickname now.
saved number 11. Got a home run again out there for
Big
Torque, number 16 on the year. Wenzel Perez hit one earlier. They are just grooving at the right time, guys. They're grooving at the right time. They are 20 games over 500 for the first time since 2013.
Look at that.
2013. And they're fit. What are they? The record right now, 44 and 24. And they're starting to bottom out the AL Central. They own the biggest lead in Major League Baseball. I think it's up to 8 games, maybe 8.5 even. Was 7.5 going into the game. And I told you guys yesterday, it's very rare you'll get the Tigers as an underdog. They were an underdog yesterday. They're an underdog tonight with Casey Mize on the hill. I say smart money goes, let it ride on the Detroit Tigers tonight.
Yeah, I think they're underdog because it's Vegas saying that at some point you have to lose. I think that's the only reason why they're underdog in this game. You mentioned 2013. Maz, I remember where I was when Torrey Hunter mistimed that jump.
Oh.
I had just started DJing. I was DJing. You would recognize this spot.
wait, what?
I don't think he missed
100%. I was a DJ.
What genre?
EDM. It was easy. I was living in Miami, so like
Oh,
it was
okay.
easy. BPM, beats per minute.
I
It
know
was
who
cool.
I'm
Mix
booking
that.
next.
100%. Hey, keep it around 122.
Hey, look
Nah,
at
man,
this
come
guy.
on, come on down to
Look at
98.
this guy.
That's hip hop.
Come
that's,
on, man.
That's
Come on down
easy
to
to
DJ
do.
Mustard.
That's easy to DJ. But I was DJing. This was gonna be my first gig. It was at Crave, but I'm watching the game because the club's
Crave.
empty at the time.
It was a
Setting up.
Sunday night.
When he mistimed that jump, I was so hot. But anyway, that's why he plays baseball.
He went over the wall in
went over the
Boston.
wall.
He did.
Poppy tied that game. The Tigers had a 4-run lead in that game, and they never looked back
I
after
still hate
that.
that
They lost.
bullpen
They
cop.
lost a couple of tough 1-0 games,
But-
and that was it. That team would have won the World Series.
Oh.
They do, Pete. But I bring that up to say that I'm no longer looking at the bad moments. I'm no longer looking at 2013. I'm no longer looking at it because I like this new Tigers team.
You should, but let me just bring up something real quick about 2013. If you guys all remember about that bullpen cop in the background with his arms raised, while you got a guy going somersaulting, he could have been freaking handicapped, and the cop's just sitting there going, like a freaking fan. Forget that guy.
They made a
Anyway,
bobblehead out of that.
What'd you say?
They made a bobblehead out of the cop with Torrey Hunter going over the roof.
That's
going
great.
over. in
There's
Boston.
more class from that organization up in Massachusetts.
That's why I
there,
call them
Mass.
the Red Sox.
Exactly. So let me tell you something about the Tigers, man. Every single player aside from Parker Meadows got a hit last night, and I know they're playing in the bandbox at Camden Yards. I get it, but man, this Tigers team is just on fire. I mean, you had AJ Hinch batting Darren Dingler cleanup guys. I mean, Darren Dingler is your cleanup guy. Dylan Dingler, sorry.
Null and void.
You
Null and void.
know, I'm
Not
thinking
messing
of
with you.
the movie, you know. But anyway, but you know what I'm saying? It's like AJ Hinch makes all the right moves. He's got all the right combinations. He's got his players playing well. Everybody wants to hit the frickin' baseball, which is great. Parker Meadows was the only one that went 0 for 4. He'll be fine. I tell you what, guys, you got Casey Mize coming up tonight. That Caesar Sports app read coming up. If you don't scan that QR code later on and bet the Tigers tonight as the underdog, you got problems out there, Bray. What's
Yeah,
up?
make sure you listen to Pete on that, man. Look, scan that QR code, get your bets in.
right.
Yeah, Anson, the team is having fun. That's one thing I noticed is the nucleus of teams that have a lot of success. Usually they're having fun. They're doing things the right way. It's lighthearted. Even in losses, even in adverse moments, still pulling together. They're still calm, cool, and collective. Like Pete said, I think is a representation of the skipper. But just talk about watching as a fan. It's fun.
Well, and that's the big deal is this team didn't have fun for a decade.
Yeah, true.
And you saw that fun start last year when they got on the roll with a less than 1% chance to make the playoffs. And they were playing with house money last year. The fans really didn't understand what was happening until it was happening, and it happened basically. But these guys close out games, and they're having fun doing it. This team leads the MLB in the least leads blown. They've only blown 8 leads all season long. So they might be cardiac cats. They're coming back and winning games, but they're closing games. They're stepping on necks. And for a team that's this young, when they're having this much fun, the execution can go out the door sometimes. But Skipper, as you mentioned, he's not letting that happen. So it's a matter of fun, but it's a matter of execution. And so this young team is somehow able to get on top of teams and bury them. They don't let them back in, and that is going to suit them well when they get to the playoffs.
Maz, do me a favor. Compare this situation to something of the past. A situation where you saw just a group of young guys just pull it together and turn the situation around and kind of ride momentum. Anything like this before, or is this uncharted territory?
In baseball, man, well, it's happened in the past. I mean, you get the old Marlins team that was thrown together. Excuse me.
97?
Yeah, that was thrown together, and Jack McKeon was their coach, was their manager, and a young, of course, Miguel Cabrera in 2003 coming up against the Yankees. He won that series for the Marlins that year, and you saw what he did. Triple Crown winner. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, one of the great hitters of all time. But this team, man, there's something about this team, the way they play together.
Yeah.
You would think it's almost like a basketball team, the way they have such good chemistry. It's baseball. Usually chemistry don't really matter on the field in baseball, but it does. And they are the darlings of the national media. ESPN, MLB Network, constantly talking about this team. Guys falling in love with this team. Today, ESPN.com puts out a column on the Tigers and Javi Baez. And they say it's the great comeback of Javi Baez.
Right, yeah.
We put it out on the chat, of course, and you got Neil. We get Neil.
Neil
We get
hates
under
Javi
Neil's
Baez.
skin. He just can't get over the fact that this guy has turned his career around. He had a hip problem.
Yeah.
It obviously affected
Mental,
his
hip.
entire the way he played. And look, I'm not telling you he's the best player. We all know he's not the best player, but he seems to be a phenomenal teammate that these guys like to rally around. Like when he won that game for him with that home run against Boston a couple of months back. You remember? They went to the extra innings. Boston takes the lead, a 2-run lead. He comes up, hits a 3-run homer. He's won them games. He's played 4 different positions. He's made center field look like he belongs there. If Parker Meadows wasn't part of this team, he'd probably be your everyday center fielder. The guy's WAR, wins above replacement. That's that big stat now. He's 4th on the team in wins above replacement. And then you got guys like Torque having a renaissance year. 16 home runs, his OPS up to 900. O'Reilly Green, OPS right around 900. Strikes out a lot, but
But that's
he's
baseball
there.
in 2025.
Yes, he's there in the clutch most times. And most times, they're 20 games over 500. And the guy that's pulling the strings is A.J. Hinch. He is just putting the right people in pinch hitting. Carpenter's not playing. Why aren't you playing Carpenter?
Right.
Brings him up as a pinch hitter. Home run, base hit, whatever. He goes over the wall, makes a catch last week to save Scooble's game. Everyone is playing amazing baseball, and they haven't even touched their minor league prospects yet. And today, Scott Harris was on the flagship, and he said, nobody on this team is untouchable at the deadline, and we will make some moves if it makes sense.
One thing I love, Ricky, is I'm looking at the Old English Detroit hat, and it reminded me of yesterday. No Tigers game, at least downtown yesterday. They were in Baltimore.
Yeah.
But everyone downtown was wearing Tiger stuff. Ton of people going to the Kendrick concert wearing Tigers jerseys. People just walking around Comerica Park. The energy was there. People eating outside, wearing Tigers things.
Yeah.
That hasn't always been the case.
No.
They kept the hat, but they
Yeah.
started wearing jerseys a while ago. It's
there you
good to
go.
see,
Right.
right?
It's different, man. This team is just different. Like it's exciting to see, and they don't disappoint. Like even when we had a couple games we lost, it's like some people were on a bad, like feeling kind of bad, like something. I wasn't worried about it, and now boom, we bounced right back. I missed the game yesterday. I was at home just getting ready, and I still working too, and so I ended up missing the game. But I kept checking the alerts. I'm just like, oh yeah, we good. Like Oilers, oh we straight. I can't wait to watch the next one, man. It's just exciting, and I think the whole city is feeling it, and it's just different.
I think that the Tigers fans need to start giving the respect they give to Dan Campbell to A.J. Hinch.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like, even though the Lions are where they are as a team, A.J. Hinch has already won you a World Series. A.J. Hinch did what he did last year and showed you. So,
Well, not
I want-
us. He didn't win us one.
Well, he's won a World
Sure,
Series. He's
sure,
been
sure.
to 2 World
No doubt.
Series. Last year, he did something that had never been done before. It was a 0.2% chance they make the playoffs. And now, this year, they're the #1 team in baseball. Start giving him that respect you give Dan Campbell, who hasn't even been to a Super Bowl.
Now, are we talking like Wizard of Woodward 2.0 type of respect? Are we calling him that yet?
Wizard of
Wizard
I
of
mean-
Woodward.
That's what they used to call
I like
the old
that.
man with the cigarette.
I like that.
Spark.
No.
Oh,
Leland. Jimmy
Yeah.
Leland.
Yeah.
Sparky didn't smoke. Come on now.
I'm being funny. That's my
Jimmy Leland, he loved those darts though.
I would say yes.
I
Like,
think so too.
I say yes. There's no disrespect to Jim Leland. It just is what it is.
And he is a wizard. What he was able to do with look at the roster he took to the playoffs last year. Look at the moves that they stood pat on and then just added in a little bit this year. I mean, I don't know how much he has to do with scouting these guys in the minors and all of that, but what he's doing with the parts he's given, I think that they are playing above what I see on paper. And that is about your skipper.
I think you look at what Leland did in 06 and what AJ is doing last year and this year, they're on par.
Okay.
They're on par. I would
2.0,
say.
baby.
2.0. Speaking of 2.0,
Right.
Game 3
Hey.
in a 1-1 series tied at 2. Game 3 is tonight. Anson, I know you want to cook on this a little bit, talk about the OKC Thunder as well as the Indianapolis Pacers. We actually haven't seen each other
I know.
since the second game, haven't had a chance to talk ball a little bit. OKC, they tie it up. They do the things necessary. Take me through the game as you saw it.
So I just touched on it briefly at the end of the show on Monday from the DGC.
Give me a recap,
Shout out
quick.
Scott Feldman and the team over there. But I didn't go into it because I wanted to talk with you.
Okay.
And we've been going back and forth. And the chat's been giving me hell because they think the Pacers have a shot. I've been giving the Chad hell. Sorry, Freddie. I'm telling you don't know ball. We do appreciate you, Freddie, as well. He also brought in a whole bunch of cool
Oh, yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
We're gonna portion it out. We're gonna start it off in honor of being in the Stanley Cup finals currently. We're gonna include this little Stanley Cup here, but I didn't want to go too deep into it because I wanted to save it for today.
Okay.
Tyrese Halliburton cannot be the face of the NBA if he goes out here and pretends like he's Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and tries to get the rest of the team involved for 3 quarters. The man was 2 of 7 at the end of 3 quarters.
3 points at halftime.
Now, he ended up leading the team in points, which is kind of pathetic, I think. It was, 15 points?
17.
For 17, and then, 14 or 15 in game 1? That guy, it was way too little too late. Now, in game 1, you got Obi Toppin, you got the Aarons hitting shots, T.J. McConnell making a difference. And what I have noticed, I saw a graphic. I think that they've had the lead for about a minute and a half in this game of this series. OKC's had it for over 90 minutes. I think they've been tied for 3 minutes in this series. Everything has to go right for Indy just to have a chance to win a game. Now, we're going to see what's going to happen in Indiana. But I think that already they've allowed a very physical game. They haven't been putting SGA on the foul line constantly to the point where you're going to see that drastically change once Indiana's at their home court. I just don't see any scenario where this series can go past 6 games. It's going to be hell in a handbasket for the Pacers just to win one at home. Big 3, they showed up in game 2, and that meant all the difference. But then you got a guy like Aaron Wiggins. But, gentlemen, there's 8 other Aaron Wiggins on that team that can light up any single game. You know who it is for the Pacers. If we don't see Benedict Mathurin become the guy that the Detroit fans lamented not drafting, the guy that's amazing both ways and the dark horse in this series, I don't even know if Maz is going to be right on his 6 games, which I could see happening. Might just be a gentleman's sweep. Pacers are in trouble.
Let's see how they do tonight. All right, let's give them tonight before we say that.
You have to,
because they haven't had the lead, but for 0.3 seconds.
And whose fault is that?
In the league, in the series.
And whose fault is that? That's the OKC Thunder because they're not allowing them. I think that we know the series is over. You're trying to see can get to 6 games. You'll see tonight. I don't think it does. I don't think it does, and I don't think it does for the same reasons. One, their superstar is much better than their superstar. SGA is levels above where Tyrese Halliburton is. Everything has to go right, like Anson said. Look at the one game they won. Obi Toppin played out of his mind, and they won by 1 because of a last-second shot by Tyrese Halliburton. That's how they got their 1 win. The depth. Oh, I thought you were sitting that to me. The depth of this team, the problem is they're starting to get beat up. That pace, they're physical. You see Tyrese Halliburton limping at the podium after the press conference?
Yeah.
It's after game 2. He's already limping. I just think that they beat him up on both sides of the ball. Their bench players, their bench players, they're 2, they're 3, they're 4. They didn't play that bad, but Tyrese Halliburton couldn't get you 20.
Well, they took him out of the game.
Yeah.
Let's give OKC. Let's give them the break there. I mean, he took him out of the game. The Pacers, they play uphill. Every team that plays OKC is playing uphill. So they have to work so much harder for their shots, so much harder to stop them on defense. OKC, Caruso, what a key he was in game
20.
number 2. I mean, here's a guy that's won championship before. So they've got that. And the Pacers, they're missing that. So, hey, look, I'm rooting for Indiana because I'm an ABA fan. And we'll talk to George Gervin about that because the Pacers came over with the Spurs. If you remember, it was the Nets, Pacers, Spurs, and Nuggets. Those were the 4 survivors.
And the Tropics.
Of the ABA. The Tropics.
The Tropics as well,
The
guys.
Tropics
Don't
aren't an
forget
NBA.
about Flint. Come on.
The Tropics aren't an NBA team. Just 4 teams made it. And I always root for the ABA squads.
Well, let's talk about SGA because as much love as he's getting, what he's doing right now in his first final series, overall in the playoffs, he's averaging 35, 6, and 8 on 54, 37, 85 shooting percentage. 54 from the field as a shooting guard, point guard, and that is since they went down to Denver 2-1. What this guy's doing in the finals right now, I know that you guys are afraid to talk about it, not you guys specifically, but the world. Nobody wants to mention him in the Jordan conversation, the Kobe conversation. He's on that road. He's absolutely on that road. But I want to paint a little bit of optimism for us Detroiters because I do believe that maybe not with as many assets and capital, the Detroit Pistons are building this the right way. They're building it with defense. And our star happens to compare very favorably with SGA, and I believe that this is at their year 24 season. If you look at that, Cade's better than what SGA was at the very same age.
Let me zoom in on the numbers for you.
Now,
buddy.
obviously, Cade's going to need to get some help. I think that he has it in Jay Nivey. I think that he has it in Jalen Duren. And I think that there's some other guys that are going to step up on this team, Asar and maybe the big piece that they add this year. But watch this series, guys. Watch it closely. It might not be getting all of the fanfare and the viewership that we've seen in the past for some series, but that's because people don't know who these guys are yet. But in 5 years, we're going to look back at this series as the dawn of this new era in the NBA, and most likely the dawn of a new dynasty in OKC.
Hey, I love these things you do. They're very funny. Like, you mentioned these in passing. Like, you know, he's very much on the trajectory of Michael and Kobe, and then you just gloss right over that.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, Anson, let me correct you on that. Don't, stop doing that. Like, Michael Jordan, his first year averaged 28.2, then 22 because he was injured, 37, 35, 32. He was MVP 1, 2, 3 times by then, Rookie of the Year, and he won Defensive Player of the Year. All in that same span that you're talking about, SGA. So, slow down.
Okay, so first finals appearance.
Slow down.
Oh, no, that's not right.
Slow down, Anson. But yes, to that point.
33-6-6 in his first. Oh no, that's actually his finals career for Jordan. SG is right there, and I know it's only 2 games, but he's going to have a hell of a lot more finals.
Do you know how many finals Michael Jordan played in? Parity is now
35.
Parity is now the NBA. It's
yes.
now the NFL. So
I'm
you won't see him
calling
in that
my
same
shot.
He's played
I'm
2
calling
games in
it
the finals.
early.
2 games in
In
the finals.
3 years, everybody's going to be talking about the comparison I'm making right now that I'm getting.
Can I ask you a question? Can he average 50 like Jordan did against the Suns?
I mean, he can in the first round against the Suns and
That was in the finals.
50? The whole series?
47.
The whole series?
Maybe 42, but it was in the 40s.
You just went down 8 points, my friend.
42 is 42, Maz. You better tell him something. How you feeling over there, big guy?
I'm great, man. Michael Jordan is on his own plateau.
Thank you.
All right, that's
Of
all.
course, and I'm not taking
But
anything
no,
away from him.
but
or Kobe.
SGA is on his way to superstardom. Can we say that?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I think he's already at superstardom. What I'm talking about is him entering the GOAT conversation by his late 20s. Yeah. The way that LeBron did early, the way that Kobe did in his 30s. I just really think that the way that Sam Presti's put this team together with their skipper in Mark Daigneault, this team's it's not going to get busted apart the way that the last OKC Big Three did.
All right.
Scary stuff, man.
It is scary stuff. You got something, Pete, on that, or you
No,
want to talk
good to
about
go.
Buddy's
No.
Pizza? That
We're
is amazing. Anson, tell us about that pizza.
Well, hey, we're talking about legends in the NBA. Let's talk about the legends in pizza. And in my opinion, the greatest pizza in the world is that Detroit deep dish. And you know who's been serving it up for 79 years? That's right, Buddy's Pizza. At 22 locations in Detroit, including that original spot down at 6 Mile and Conant. But sign up for those rewards and start earning on every single purchase right now. Get over to buddiespizza.com, download the app, and for your first purchase, you can include 10 meal. You see it right over my head. You'll save 10% off that order. So get to buddiespizza.com.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Woodwardsports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. Woodwardsports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at woodwardsports.com.
Hey guys, looking to upgrade your massage game, your relaxation game? Well, check out Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, not too far from our studios here on Woodward. They are at Woodward and Long Lake Road, the largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest. And of course, they've got Dr. Eric Duncan, the wellness doctor, creator of the top YouTube massage chair review channel. Book a visit right now, massagechairhouse.com, or click on that QR code above my head. You got it, guys. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
White Claw Tigers Tour. Check this out, man. We're June 13th. It's coming up, man. It's this Friday. We will be at Nemo's having fun. Come on, join Woodward Sports. We'll be watching the game, watching these Tigers win. Presented by Ben Johnson Law as well as Eastbound Distributors. This is what we've been doing, man. 4 of these, 1 in the books, 1 this Friday. June 19th will be a second best, and then June 29th, we wrap it all up at the old Miami in downtown. So come by, man. It's a good time. Look at the weather. Pull up on us, man. Let's have some fun. White Claw Tigers Tour.
Before we get out of basketball.
I wasn't.
You're not? Okay.
I'm not.
All right, good, because I got something for you.
I wasn't going to leave basketball. Actually, we were talking about the Pacers. We were talking about OKC. 2 small market teams, and that was one of the big concerns leading into the playoffs. If it's these 2, what are the ratings going to look like? Guess what, Maz? The results are in.
We knew it.
Uh-oh.
We knew it. I said it. Anyone knew it. 2 small market teams. You knew it was going to be low ratings. But they are. The lowest rating since 2007, and they didn't want to include the bubble series of 2020. By the way, which LeBron said was pure basketball. Okay, LeBron.
Garbage.
Nonetheless. Anyway, you knew it was going to happen. Although the ratings are low, the coverage is still pretty good, and they still outdraw the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. So even the worst of the NBA is outdrawing the NHL. So that's what the scoop is. People just want to watch football, maybe a little baseball sprinkled in there. That's it, guys.
Very interesting. LeBron was in both of those finals. One was when he lost to the San Antonio Spurs, and then the other was obviously the Lakers winning the bubble. Side note, do you believe in the bubble championship?
No, not at all.
You do not?
Not at all. So, it was Larry Bird that was talking about how you can hit every single free throw in your driveway.
Yeah.
But when you're in a game, you've got people cheering and yelling at you. You've got to travel. You've got to be in an unfriendly environment with calls to your hotel room at 3 a.m. Jet lag. All of those things are why you fight for home court advantage.
Yeah.
All of those things are why you need a couple vets on your team, why you need resilient, thick-skinned guys. And sure, you could call it pure basketball. I mean, I play pure basketball by myself in my driveway.
You can do video game too.
But when it comes down to all of the distractions and all of the things that go into having to travel and host and win a 7-game final series, you strip all of that away, and pure basketball, but it's not the finals.
This is the take that I heard on it, and this was coming from Carmelo Anthony. I can't wait to ask ISO Joe as well as Iceman this question. He said, people are forgetting to take into account we were locked down in this space. COVID's going on. People out here dying. We didn't know if we were going to play or not. All this is going on in our minds. Also, it's routine. Like, I understand that stuff. You're right. You're right. You have to deal with those things. But when you don't have your routine, like I had the same routine as I did when I was at away games. I had the same routine that I did at home games in terms of travel, what time I would eat my lunch, when I was going to order this, when I was going to sleep, when I pulled up to the stadium, when I got the massage before the game. Like, all these are part of the routine. Now I don't have that routine. Now I'm locked into a world that I don't really know what's going on, away from my family. I can't leave. And every night I got a swab. I got a swab after this, swab after that. I have to deal with this for 3 months or 2 months. I think it was a little over 2 months. 2 months, that's a lot to process, being stuck in a space. So I started to look at it a little differently. I'm not going to say I hold it in the same light, but I think it's a little more than I thought it was.
I mean, it sounds like resort life to me.
Yeah, but
I mean, these guys are in deluxe accommodations with a deluxe cafeteria,
it doesn't matter
with
where
deluxe
you're stuck,
weight
man,
room.
Look, when you're stuck somewhere, eventually it doesn't matter where you are stuck.
But everyone is stuck.
Because them too. But you can't hang with them. That was the other thing he said. Everybody thought it was just like, the boys can hang and they can be together, and Carmelo can hang with LeBron and they can play games.
As long as Rudy Gobert wasn't there, you were okay.
You know what? This is Cap. Forgive me for not
just
having
asking.
Any sympathy for millionaires who are in
used to moving.
a luxurious setting with luxurious food, luxurious weight room,
normal to
while
them, though.
all of us can't go to the store. We can't do anything. We can't worship. We can't even congregate to have Thanksgiving.
But by that time, you could go to the store. You had to be going to the grocery store at that time.
Okay, but what about all the other stores? All I'm saying is this. They got a reprieve from the real world that all of us were living in. They got to be in a literal bubble from the rest of the world and all the tragedy that we were dealing with on an everyday basis. They might have looked it up and gotten a phone call and, Googled some stuff. But the fact of the matter is those guys were in a bubble from the real world. The bubble itself implies how isolated they were from all the problems we had to deal with. And I'm sorry, but when there's no bubble and you're going to Game 7 and you're going to Game 3 and you're traveling around, you have to deal with all of that stuff. And by taking that away, you're taking the human element out of a very human game. You're putting it into a bubble. To me, when you take the distractions away from LeBron, he can thrive. I want a guy that wins with all the distractions, like Mike did.
Fair enough. Do you want KD as a Detroit Piston?
Hell no. That guy's been breaking teams apart since he left Golden State. And I'm sorry, but this team, let's take the blueprint from the rest of Detroit right now. The rest of Detroit teams aren't giving up their prospects. They're not giving up their future. They're drafting and developing, and that's what we're doing as the Pistons. As we watch them get into the playoffs, this team is super duper young. You bring in listen, I love his love for the game, but this guy brings an ego. He brings a ball dominance. I mean, is he going to defer to Cade at the end of games? Is he going to defer to Cade? I see that as maybe, if you could sweep him up in the middle of the season and you don't have to give up too much for it, but the cost is just way too much for me. But the fit, I don't see being that great either.
Only thing I will correct you on is KD actually is a deferred. He deferred to Steph. He deferred to Book now. He deferred to Kyrie. He's just a killer assassin.
Yes,
but he really is a deferred. That's why he left OKC, because he started to defer to Russell.
Listen, if they would have had him this year, they beat the Knicks.
Sure.
They probably beat the Pacers.
Well, but you're operating
I'm
on
just
the
saying.
convenient
But then
idea
who's
that
not on
we
the
trade.
team, though? Yeah.
But
Malik Beasley.
But the convenient idea that you
Hardaway.
trade Ivy and 2 first-round picks
you
for
said
him
get
because
rid
then
of
you
them all.
don't have Ivy. But to me, if Ivy's in the lineup,
beat him.
we also get by the Knicks. If Stewart's in the lineup, without Ivy, we probably beat the Knicks. Get over it, Detroiters. Stop begging for Myles Garrett. Mads, stop it with these just crazy trades.
Well,
what's working in Detroit right now is drafting and developing players.
You're
Hold
right.
your capital, gentlemen.
I'm not going to argue with you there, but let's put up Pete. because KD and the Suns, they're getting together and they're putting a list together of where he can go. And you don't see the Pistons on that list. I would think the leaders would probably be the Knicks.
Yeah, because they love making stupid
Yes,
moves
they
right
do.
when they're on the precipice so that
They
they
do.
can propel themselves into yet another rebuild.
That's fine.
Yeah, one thing I appreciate
That's what they
about
do.
They do, don't they? I mean,
Yeah.
I know you've been watching it forever, but it really seems like whenever they're close, like people talking about moving Cat after 1 year there
I know.
is crazy to me.
I will say this. I'm going to take a page out of Scott Harris's book this year as I watch, what Tracy Langdon does. They ran it back with the team they had, those young guys. They added a couple players, but they ran it back because they wanted to see. We've had this conversation before. And I think the Pistons are in that same boat. You mentioned it. You're absolutely correct. Jaden Ivey, in terms of how he was playing before he got injured, we don't know what that looks like with Cade for 82 games in the playoffs. Beef Stew. Like, we firmly believe if Beef Stew plays, we win that series. We have the muscle to go against Cat. We have that pest that they didn't see in that series. So why not do what the Tigers did? Why not bring this young team back and add a piece or two here or there that makes sense? I'm all for it because it works with the Tigers. I mean, we can't stop singing the Tigers' praise. So I'm for it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Keep it going.
It totally depends on the deal. I mean, if you had to give up one first rounder and Ron
It's probably going to be
Holland-
Beef Stew.
What?
Probably Beef Stew.
No, thank you. No, thank you. If you give up Ron Holland and a first-round pick, do it.
Yes.
I might even do 2 first-round picks with Ron Holland. You can do it. But I worry about what this means for our future capital and trade. It just really robs Trajan's ability to have a 5-6 year window. It pushes us into a 1-2 year window type of deal. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think that KD puts us over OKC.
Yeah.
No, OKC you don't think about. You think about the East.
It's
Just win the East.
Yeah. It's nobody currently constructed to beat them except the Celtics.
Pistons are going to be playing on the road this year, guys, out in
That's what
Mexico.
I like that.
Mexico City, baby. Here come the Pistons. It's the Mavericks and the Pistons on November the 1st. So there you go. It's another Detroit team that's getting the limelight. I kind of like it.
Hear me out on this one. Flying overseas to see a football game, and maybe because I'm a football player, maybe because football is king, I can make it make sense. Like, just, all right, I'm going to a football game. I'm enjoying the experience. I'll go sightsee. The football game is out of its mind in terms of excitement. Basketball games aren't like that. They don't hold that same excitement for me. So, like, I would have to have been in Mexico already to go to a game. That's just me.
I know what
Stick
you mean.
no sé. Vuelvo a Mexico en noviembre. I will
You
be
going?
there. I don't care. I don't know if Stick knows, but he's flying me out there, and I'm covering that game. You guys know I love Mexico. I spend a lot of time down in Mexico. I am going to MXC to see my Stones.
You have no
play.
pesos, though.
I got
No
pesos in my
pesos.
drawer at home.
Okay,
Dad.
good.
Come on now.
That's good.
No, I'm tremendously excited about this. I've always wanted to go see the Lions overseas, but Mexico City for basketball. Oh my, good Lord! I am so hyped about this.
What if they were playing? What if they were playing in Shanghai? Would you go?
I mean, yeah, my money was right, but you know that Mexico's like a 4-hour flight. It's about $300, right?
Hey, Bray.
Still,
difference.
Mexico is an interesting place. I'm just
I would
throw
agree
that
with
out
that.
there. It's an
I would
interesting
agree with
spot.
that.
Not
Hey.
everybody comes back.
Can I give an answer? Like, Pete, you got something?
Well, I was going to ask. I think I got something, and I don't know if I do because I
Probably
just
not.
want to. No. Hear me out on this because I don't know if I'm going to say this correctly, Anson. I kind of want to challenge you. I don't want to say that because I kind of have a bad feeling about what you were saying about the Pistons working their way up through the draft because you're right. But the way that the NIL money is set up now with college basketball, it doesn't seem to me that the draft is going to be as deep as it used to be going forward because you're going to have players dropping out of the NBA draft who are only going to be second-round picks and only getting second-round money when they can return to college and get better NIL money. And not so my whole point is I'm worried about the draft going forward being deep in order to build the way, which I agree with what you're saying. I'm concerned about your game plan for how you have the Pistons working with the draft team.
And
Pete, I appreciate that.
Well,
That was well done.
I appreciate
it as
that.
well, but
Thanks,
I'm not
man.
talking
Thank
about
you.
using those picks in the 20s to build this team. I'm talking about not trading our first-round pick last year and our next 2 picks for a guy on a 1-year deal when he's not going to make us better than OKC. I mean, maybe he wants to resign here because he puts them over the top. They get to an Eastern Conference Finals. Heaven help us. Maybe they make it to a finals. And in that case, maybe KD wants to come back. But the guy's making $50 million a year. Now, you're going to have to dip into your – I know they don't call him this
rainy
anymore.
Day fund. You're
going to have to dip into your bird rights to be able to retain him, and he's going to absolutely choke your salary cap. And honestly, I just don't think even with that trade that Goris is down to take the hit that this would have us. This would have us over that second salary cap threshold, the penalty threshold. So I like moving those picks for a guy that's on a 2 or 3 year deal, a guy that's 27, that's 28 years old, not a guy that's 34, 35 years old that's on the last year of his deal. Because if you're patient and you can build a winner, in February, you start looking at these disgruntled guys, much like we saw De'Aaron Fox get shipped off. And now you have those pieces for De'Aaron Fox. Not 1 year at $54 million of KD, who, let's be honest, since leaving Golden State has done nothing but kill teams.
Yeah, too. But that's also the national pundit. Stephen A. Smith kind of came over with that. He said he appreciated or he saw that the fit was right and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they're not diving into the team. They're hearing a superstar's name, much like a lot of fans here. You're a superstar's name.
Of course.
KD's one of the coldest basketball players of all time. Like, he's one of the best hitmen of all time as it relates to that.
A Slim Reaper.
100%. Right. But at the end of the day, I like where this team is. I don't want to, like you said, I don't want to mess this up.
No.
I don't want to fracture this to bring in KD and to
I would take him
take
on
a
a cheap.
step back.
I would take him if they could steal him.
Yeah, KD ain't doing nothing for cheap. You talking about a person that's almost a billionaire.
Yeah, right.
Like all his investments in the tech world and all the money he's made in the NBA. KZ is a nickel's throw away from being a billionaire.
But I will tell you this. Any players that watched this Pistons team this year and watched the playoff, and I remember, I said this 2 years ago when he was with the Suns and they played the Pistons, and the Pistons played him hard. The Pistons might have even won that game. I remember KD talking about Cade, hugging him, saying, man, he went on there. He went after the post-game interview. He's like, man, they're building something here. This is a team. This is a fun team to play for. This is a fun team to play for, and it's going to be a destination again before you know it. I know it's the East, and the East is weak. I get it. Although the Celtics were the champs last year, the West is the best right now, and they have the best team that's been put together since the Golden State Warriors 10 years ago, and that's OKC, no question about it.
Here, let's put a pin in the Pistons real quick because around that 3 o'clock hour, we do have ICE as well as ISO coming in. I want to get a football question in. Jared Goff, we've been talking about this a lot. We've been talking about the conversation. He lost his center. He lost his offensive coordinator. Well, we got some stats on Jared Goff and what he was able to do with Ben Johnson. And basically, ESPN asks, can Jared Goff overcome all of the changes in Detroit? 3 of Goff's top 4 QBR seasons came in the past 3 years with Ben Johnson as his offensive coordinator. And Johnson has left to go to the Bears. Boo. Several other members of the Lions coaching staff have moved on to other jobs as well. And then, so obviously, Frank Ragnow did retire a week and a half ago. The Lions have had a lot of success since Goff and Coach Dan Campbell got there. And they should still be expected to be one of the top teams in the league. But things will look significantly different around Goff and some key aspects to this season. And he'll need to answer some of these questions So, Maz, what do you think about Jared Goff answering these questions? Is it something that's on his mind, or is he locked into?
No, I think he's thinking about this. And,
okay.
Not only getting a new offensive coordinator, but getting a new center. The center that's the key, man.
Yep.
And, we brought this up in the past. Frank Ragnow was his guy. Frank Ragnow is gone. Graham Glasgow, he's worked with him, but, in limited games. I think if Glasgow is the starter, and I believe he will be, and Tate Ratledge is trained properly to eventually take over that spot, it'll be okay. They signed a guy from Arizona as well who played 7 games last year at center. So they got a little bit of depth there, but they lost Frank Ragnow. I think if anything would shake Goff, it would be that. But you know what? They got all summer camp to work that out. They got the preseason. And I think they'll be just fine. I think he will have a phenomenal year this year, and the Lions are they're gonna go all the way this year, guys.
Anson, what has Jared Goff done in his career, especially the last 3 years, to make you think that he'll overcome this?
I love that question because if you remember back to the Rams
playoff game?
No, the Hard Knocks.
Okay.
And he was a rookie.
Okay.
And they asked him where the sun set, I believe, or the sun rose.
He said opposite.
And I think he said the north or something ridiculous. And I'm like, this guy's going to be terrible. He's an idiot. But he's not an idiot. He's a very, very cerebral quarterback. In fact, his physical limitations are overcome by his high IQ. Now, to me, I'm more worried about a change under center than I am Ben Johnson leaving or anything else. We saw Jared Goff be a hell of a quarterback when Ben Johnson was just a quality control director. Again, I'm going to double down on the fact that I think that this is a blessing in disguise because I believe that if Ragnow was starting all season long, you're going to get a guy hobbling around on one leg by the time the playoffs start. Yeah. Tate Ratledge is going to be baptized by fire, and he's going to have to learn on the fly, and there's going to be some miscommunications between the center and his QB. But if there's anybody that can overcome it in this league, it is a high cerebral quarterback, and I see that being Jared Goff. So, yes, there will be struggles early, but I think that by the end of the season, these young guys will be clicking. The chemistry of the offensive line will be strong, and the relationship between Ratledge and Goff, we won't be worried. I'll say that.
Man, I'll leave you with this. I'll leave you as fans with this as well. I think Jared Goff is going to have a good year. I think there'll be bumps in the road early on in the season. It's football. It's the name of the game. It's getting used to, the thing that you do professionally. But I think that he will be successful in the end. I think he will be successful in the playoffs. And you know why? Because the same thing that people are asking him, they're asking his head coach. Mm-hmm. They're asking, can Dan Campbell overcome losing Ben Johnson to Aaron Glenn? Can Dan Campbell overcome losing the way they did in the playoffs last year? Can he? So I think that they are going to be locked at the hip because they both got something to prove. Yeah. They're both going through it at the same time. I think Dan Campbell is going to be that support, and vice versa. Jared's no kid. No kid. As coaches, you need those players that can have the conversations, that can talk to you. Hey, coach, pick up the clipboard. You're going to be all right. Hey, coach, drink some water. It's going to be cool. I think Jared Goff and Dan Campbell will have that type of relationship this year because it's needed. I think it's out of necessity, but I think it happens.
Hey, man, they ran out of gas last year. They ran out of players. But I'll say this. I think they took their eye off the prize. That last week when they were off, when they had that bye week, that finished them. As dumb as that sounds, that's when the interviews were finalized. That's when they knew they were going to go to the Bears. They knew they were going to go to the Jets. And Dan Campbell knew he had to find some new people to take over that team. Yeah, the injuries killed him. And once Amik Robertson went down with that broken arm, that was the end of it. But I remember, and I said this many times, Dan Campbell in the pregame with Tom, who's the Fox guy? Tom Rinaldi. On the sideline prior to the game. He just looked too relaxed to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
And I love Dan Campbell. But I just all believe that they had their worst game. They picked the worst day to have their worst game. They should have beaten Washington even with those 22 bodies down. They should have.
Man, it makes perfect sense. It's funny you say Tom Rinaldi. Like, Tom Rinaldi always does those emo pieces.
He makes you cry.
I did one with him. I had a whole situation with a young man that had a heart transplant. Didn't go so well, so they did on ESPN. I still get choked up thinking about it. Man, I had to take a second on that. Yeah. What were you talking about before? I was in that same situation.
Yep.
My first year going to the playoffs, we played against a team that had the bye week. We played against the San Diego Chargers.
Yep.
They had the number 1 seed. I think they were number 1 seed. Mm-hmm. They had the bye week. They laughed at the Jets. We snuck into the playoffs. We're not worried about the Jets. That's how they approached the game. They never know what hit them. They never got out of the blocks. It wasn't a big scoring game by us, but they never got out of the blocks. Like, Daniel Tomlinson was under 60 yards. Like, they looked like a deer in the headlights because they took us very, very lightly. And I think, Maz, you might have a point about that.
I believe it.
Another point in the...
it won't happen again, though.
Hell no.
A great point in the chat here. What up, Doe, with Detroit Gunny.
What up, Doe?
he thinks it was mentioned before, but Goff's perfect game was with Glasgow under center.
That's good to hear.
Ragnow tore his pack and missed that game.
Yeah, that's valid.
Like I said, he's
There
got
is
a
familiar-
history with Glasgow.
Yeah.
And I think Glasgow's going to be the starter. I really do. But he probably can't play every game at that top. That's
At
where
that
you
level.
need. That's where you need
Frank
your
Ragnow,
backups.
that's where you need the
That's where
backups.
you need your youngsters to come through.
Are we gonna have a bullpen
Yeah.
center job?
Maybe a bullpen center gig. You know what? I don't care, man. Just hand the ball off to Gibbs and David Montgomery. Throw it to St. Brown and J-Mo. Hit our tight end Sam and call it a day.
Real quick, what
Go ahead,
chances that Rutledge plays center? That they train him and play him rookie,
That's where he's at.
He ain't gonna start,
meld
though.
him early.
Later.
Ratledge?
Later with some. You said what?
Ratledge is the starting center.
Yeah.
I think so.
OTAs, he was lining up as
Yep,
starting
I
center.
think so too. That's what I was thinking. Okay.
Because they need him to get the most reps.
Thank you.
Glasgow will start.
The reason
You
why
think he will?
The
Yeah.
reason why he's getting the number 1 reps is because they need him to work with Jared Goff.
Correct.
You can't get work with Goff if you're backstring. Glasgow already has reps.
Well, sure, and Glasgow clearly does as well at center. I think that this team is better off if Ratledge is the center of the future, starting him there day one.
This is true.
Week 1, should I say. Now,
Okay.
I know we're closing on the break here. I got to guilt trip the chat right now.
Okay.
I don't blame you.
Super chats
Nothing moving.
are crazy.
They don't know
weak
what's
right
they don't
now.
know what's coming
They
ahead.
really
They
don't.
have no idea.
I have a massive surprise for the Super Chat prize today. We're going to let you know about that after 3. You probably can guess. But we've also got this T-shirt here
It's
from
underneath
the,
that
the Mark
t-shirt.
Wahlberg Celebrity Classic. We got a whole lineup of cards here, as well as this Stanley Cup trophy, courtesy of our guy Freddie Felt. Get your Super Chats in. You will regret it if you don't. I'm just letting you know.
We'll get Mac to sign that trophy. How about that?
We can do that too, man. We got a bunch of stuff. We're going to get a lot of autos going forward in the next for this summer. Listen, this is the Givey, the not Givey. That's a different term, but this is the prize package that starts all the prize packages. Everything from now on, it's getting bigger. So make sure you get those super chats in. Smash that like button. You know the deal, guys.
Is that potentially a move for today in studio type deal? What I'm looking at?
Hey. See,
I'll say
he
less.
can guess. You guys
Hey,
can
say
too.
less.
They're
I'll
right
say
next
less.
door.
You said what? 100%. They're getting it in, ladies and gentlemen.
It's going to be icy.
Let me tell you about Planet Fitness. Your fitness is essential, so we want you to get to the gym, man. So you take care of yourself.
Don't go to the gym with that shoe. It's untied though.
Don't go to the gym with the shoes that's untied. You know what I'm saying? Make sure your shoes are tied. But look, with over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations, Planet Fitness is the gym for you, man. There's no judgment. There's trainers with every membership that you get. And it's just a cool place, man. It's a vibe, man. The gyms are squeaky clean, man. The people are good. Come on down to Planet Fitness because your fitness is essential. Anson Wells, tell us about
Hey,
this thing.
this is me, Les Stanford's got the biggest inventory around town, and they got the best deals. You can see them right there. $169 for the 25 Sierra, $259 for the Envision, and you can get yourself into that 2025 Hummer EV SUV for only $699 a month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out that inventory. Les Stanford Buick and GMC. You can find them at lesstanford.com, and together, let's drive.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak. Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Belegian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media, X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. The boys of summer are here, and Woodward Sports is all over the Motor City with the White Claw Tigers Tour. Come party with Woodward Sports, watch the Tigers, and sip on some White Claw all summer long. The best bars, big giveaways, live events, and a party that only Woodward Sports can throw. Ain't no party like a Woodward Sports party. Join us Friday, June 13th from 5 to 7 with the heavyweights at Nemo's in Corktown for the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw and Ven Johnson. Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak. Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Belegian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media. X, Doc. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
All right, everybody, you know what time it is. It is time for you to scan that QR code above my head. Use that code word over there, Woodward 1000, to open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. I already told you earlier about those Tigers, and they are underdogs tonight at Baltimore. So come on, guys, open up that Caesars Sportsbook account. When you do open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account and make your first deposit, make your first bet of $20 or more. If that first bet happens to lose, you get your first bet back as a bonus bet up to $1,000, but only if you scan that QR
QR code above my head. Use that code word over there, Woodward1000, to open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. Gentlemen, back to the show.
Welcome back. Second hour of the show. Like I promised you earlier, man, two legends in the building. I don't know where to start, man. Both of these gentlemen, over 20,000 points in their NBA careers. Both of these gentlemen, multiple. Let me just do it this way. The nicknames themselves, man, I said it yesterday. Ice. As soon as you say that, you know exactly what you're talking about. Another one is ISO. As soon as you say that, you know you're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, George, the Iceman Gervin, and Joe, ISO Joe Johnson, a.k.a. Jesus Johnson, too. What's the word, brother?
What's up? What's up?
What's going on?
Man, glad to have you guys in the building. Let's talk about yesterday. Yesterday was so much fun launching the Detroit Amp. You tell what? No, I'm not talking to Doc. I'm not introducing Doc. I'm just messing around. There's an individual that brought them to the studio. You know him as the Injury Insider, but he's just Dr. Pierce to us. What's up, Doc?
You know, working hard for Woodward Sports. You know, these guys weren't just walking in. I basically, I was the Uber driver to confirm that they would be coming in.
I love how you tried to introduce me to Joe yesterday. I was like, oh, okay, hey, how you doing? Nice
Right, we done had a
Respect.
whole powwow already.
We already know.
All right, I
But
can get my
appreciate that.
credibility.
Doc, how are you doing? Let me start there.
I'm good. I'm excited. You know, obviously George Gervin's been a friend of mine for 25 years, and a lot of the haters out there were saying, you don't know George Gervin. Doc's overstating stuff. So he's going to share a few stories.
You know me, Doc. I'll tell him you know me.
100%, man. George, I'll start with you. Representative the city of Detroit, born and raised, man. Eastern High School, and you go to school up the street. You know, what does it mean to be back with the Detroit Amps and just the city of Detroit in this time?
It's good to come back to the Motor City. Obviously I born and raised here on the east side of Detroit. Went to Martin Luther King High School, left there and went to Long Beach State first, and then I went on, came back and went to Eastern Michigan. So to have an opportunity to coach in the city, again, because I coached in 2000, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the AMP franchise that we purchased to be a part of the Big Three, and I'm excited about my team. So it's good to be back home.
Joe, good to have you in the city of Detroit, man. We talked a little bit last night, man, getting you typed in at the right time. The city is coming back. But talk about your love for the Big Three. It seems like you got active in the Big Three. Two-time MVP, by the way. Seemed like the love of the
three times.
Excuse me, three. I said it on purpose to save him up.
Hey,
Said it on
players
purpose
make
to
mistakes,
save him up.
baby.
Players are fucked. Yeah. Players mess up. But Joe, it seems like the love of the game is at an all-time high right now, man. I'm watching you. I watched you in these spaces. You're just having fun.
Yeah. Man, I fell in love with the game at a very young age, bro. And still at this big grown age that I'm at now, I still love training, working out, and preparing for, what we come to do on the weekend, and that's play at the highest level. So the Big Three has been awesome for me, and I appreciate everything it's done.
Gotta ask about the nicknames. A lot of people in the chat early on when they found out you guys were coming.
Yeah.
You know what the question is gonna be. So I start with you. How did you get the nickname?
Well, again, born in the city.
Yeah.
I born on the inside, I hung out. Man, you think about it, man. I grew up in the inner city of Detroit, and who was around me? Borsellini's,
Okay.
Cadillacs, Gators, and that was my dress when I got into the pros. So I took it to the pros in the ABA, and a guy named Fatty Taylor just couldn't believe how I dressed. And he started calling me Iceberg Slim. We all know who Iceberg Slim is.
100%.
And, Iceberg Slim was
One of the best
pimp.
books ever.
Wasn't that pimp is about me, though. So I say, man, I don't know about that Iceberg Slim. So he started calling me Ice. So that's really how I got my nickname.
See the ring right there, man. Before I ask you, ISO, I see the ring. You gotta let the people get a whiff of that one time. Ladies and gentlemen, there are only 49 of those rings outside of that one. And then he also has one where there's 75 and it's just 50, 75. It's just great to have this energy.
Thank you, man.
ISO, you up, man? How'd you get this nickname?
I'll be honest with you, I have no clue. I was watching. look, I watch a lot of film, and I was watching one of our games one day, and I just heard the announcer called me ISO Joe. I don't know if it just kind of rhymed or had a little ring to it. And ever since, people started calling me that. But when I did play in Brooklyn, you know, I was playing with Kevin Garnett, who gives out countless nicknames, right? After one game, he called me Joe Jesus. Look, so for the whole week, I got people sending me Jesus pictures with my face on it. I'm like, look, KG, look, I love you like a play cousin. But this Jesus thing don't want to look too far. You know what I mean? But, you know, I think as players, we don't necessarily ourselves, we don't come up with the nicknames. We let the outsiders or the fans come up with the nicknames. So that's just part of it. We do our job on the court. And, you know, from a fan's perspective, they give us these nicknames. Some we like, some we like, whatever. But it's been fun, man. It's cool to have a little nickname, though.
You didn't want to be like Earl the Pearl Monroe as well as Black Jordan? You want to sneak in there?
What you mean?
With the Jesus nickname.
Oh, man, listen. Hey, when I was playing in Brooklyn, bro, like I said, the Jesus, the Joe Jesus, it had got out of control for a little bit.
I got all kinds of questions for you guys, but we'll stick on the ISO.
All right.
When you were in the league, ISO players were kind of hated on.
Yeah.
And now it's an ISO game.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how you as ISO Joe has kind of exploded over the last 5 years to the point where you are known as ISO Joe, what that means for you in the Big Three? I know we have some people in the chat that are kind of curious about the Big Three as it is.
Yeah.
So talk about what that's meant to you and how your legend has grown since you've left the NBA and how that ISO game suited you in the Big Three.
For me, it's been fun, and playing in the Big Three is obviously, you know, kind of stamped the ISO Joe thing. You know, it's 3-on-3 basketball, man. It's hard to guard guys one-on-one. A lot of times you need some help, and with 3-on-3 basketball, it's only 2 other teammates. So you can't give up much. You can't give much help because you have to give up something. So I've been able to be, you know, pretty successful since playing in the Big Three. Like Braylon said earlier, 3-time MVP. We won it 1 year, so I'm looking forward to winning another championship and help Iceman get on top, baby. So it's going to be a lot of fun, man.
Fantastic. So we do have a lot of questions in the chat about the Big Three. Can you give us just a little background? I believe that the rosters are 5-man rosters. I know you've been a coach for a while. You were with some other teams. How long has the league been in existence? Tell us a little more about it.
It's going on the 8th year.
Oh, wow.
I started at the beginning. I started when Cube called me with the idea that he wanted to, you know, start a Big Three professional league, and he called myself Dr. J, and, you know, for us to be coaches, and by us agreeing, he went forward with it, and I think he did a fantastic job of building a brand of 3-on-3 basketball. You know, we all play 3-on-3 basketball coming up, so the game is fun. I mean, it's competitive. Like Joe said, it's half court and stuff, so you got to figure it out. I mean, you know, so I mean, it got a genuineness to it that really make it fun. And again, man, this is our 8th year, and we've been getting so much support around the country. I'm really excited about it.
Let me ask you this question, follow up to that. When you guys first started the league, like when you first started, was it hard to get players to be interested in this, the concept of 3-on-3, or getting fans to kind of get behind it a little bit, or just rocket science?
It wasn't hard at all. I mean, you know, you come, you still can see talent like this. I mean, you know, we had a lot of, I mean, you think about, we had AI starting off with it. I mean, we had some guys, man, that was, you know, was legit.
Yeah.
So who wouldn't want to come see it? And then the format, you know, 3-on-3, man. Come on, 3-on-3. We all grew up doing 3-on-3 and stuff. So to hear it that is being done on a professional level, man, it was scary. It was scary good.
He kind of snuck that in about Ice Cube, but he was the reason. If he said no, Ice Cube isn't going. So when he said,
"Oh wow,
Cube called me," he's downplaying it, but he's the reason the Big Three really started happening. It was really him and Dr. J, and it wasn't a yes right away. It was pretty much let's see for a minute, and then he started talking. So he can expand a little, but Gervin is the reason that the Big Three is where it's at now, and kind of taking it to another level. He's being modest, but he's involved as a coach level, financially. He helped bring it to Detroit, and hanging out with these guys for the last couple days, we're embracing it. Like the party, you know, Made in Detroit yesterday. There's definitely an embracement. You know, as far as Joe, we got to keep him. Well, I always say we got to preserve the elderly, the other decade. Yeah. He's going to challenge me to
You got that
preserve.
secret sauce, though.
The secret sauce, man, it works. Let me ask you a question. You keep mentioning Dr. J. You said Dr. J. You said Dr. J. ABA is the beginning for you. You're talking about being a legend in the ABA, legend in the NBA. Talk about being one of those players that was able to make that transition yourself. Dr. J made the transition and starred in both leagues.
Well, you think, man, when I joined the ABA in the 70s, I joined with Dr. J at Virginia Squire, so he was my first teammate. And to be able to, he was the ABA, at that time. And, we played, and, obviously we only had about 7, 8 teams and when it came down to it. So we merged in 76 and became a part of the NBA. Everybody talk about Magic and Bird saving the NBA, but in all reality, that transition from ABA to NBA really gave the NBA a solid foundation of young guys. If you look at the All-Star game in 77, 78, you'll see 13 or 14 ABA players a part of that All-Star. So, again, the ABA was the truth. I'm so proud to have an opportunity to play in the ABA, but I still think we saved the NBA to what it is today.
I'm taking this one, Braylon.
Go ahead, you got it.
The style era, one of my absolute favorite eras of the NBA. And you guys, as you just mentioned, you drove that, the catalyst of the style era. I would like to know the impact that Detroit had on not only your style that you talked about, what you wore, your nickname, but the implications that it had and the impact it had on your game, just being a Detroit hooper and what you meant to the style. Because, when you talk style, you got to talk about the finger roll and the Iceman.
Now, who are you watching? Get that style.
You think about it, man. Everybody say I'm the inventor of the finger roll. If you really know the history, Wilt Chamberlain.
Yes, sir.
Wilt Chamberlain had Dipper.
Connie Hawkins.
Connie Hawkins. You go Connie Hawkins. And then you go with my man Doc. All of them had their version of the finger roll. So I ain't the one had to invent the wheel. I copied them. But I made it famous.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Put your little twist on that.
That's that 313 vibe right there. You know what it is.
And Isaiah Thomas actually went one further because everybody does talk about the finger roll, and he's one of those guys. He's quick to bring up Connie and the others. But he said that nobody's ever mastered the glass the way that you did. In the modern game, I look at Kyrie, and I've heard stories about how Kyrie had a broken backboard. And he only had a few spots that he could twist it off of. So watching his game, the guy has English like nobody else. Yeah. Who would you say in today's game utilizes the backboard best?
Well, I'd say Kyrie is one of them.
Yeah.
You think about it. You think about it, man, you see a lot of clips from me. You don't see jump shots. You see finger rolls, and you see me going to the hole a lot.
Yes, sir.
I was able to go with both hands. So if I can twist it off the glass with both hands, it gives me an advantage. Yeah. So, using that glass, I tell kids all the time, using that glass it gives you better percentage. Yeah. And they got that little square up there. I like to use the big square.
Yes, sir.
And that's where I practice at, man. I didn't just practice in that little square, man. I practice on the big square because you have to have a touch to get that done. So that's how I practice. I was messing with Joe and them early in our practice and stuff. I said, man, I don't see y'all shooting a bunch of Joes. And Joe shot about 10 in a row. So he know about shooting that bank shot. So, bank shot is a special art, man, and I don't think people use it enough.
Speaking of ISO Joe, man, talking about the Arkansas Razorback that was almost a Detroit Piston in 2001. 7 teams you played on, man, but I think, where everybody really saw like the greatness and what was that Atlanta Hawks run that you had, man. That's actually when I got a chance to meet you and we overlapped a couple of times.
Yeah.
Just talk about that run that you had out there. Teague, a younger Horford, who's still playing, mind you. Younger Horford, that squad, number 1. I want to say Kyle Korver was on that team.
Josh Smith.
Shout out to Josh. I got a funny story about Josh. Year he won the dunk contest. Is when I met him. Josh, he's a cool dude.
It's like my little brother, dog. Like with our kids, he has a son that's 11. I have a daughter that's 11. They go to the same school. They just graduated, so our bond and ties are real thick. Like that's really like little bro.
Watching Jeff T, that's why I ask about the same. I watch his podcast. Shout out to the 520 podcast. y'all guys were so tight knit.
Yeah,
He talks about you being the big homie. The OG talks about Josh. Talks about Al Horford. Let's talk about why you guys are so tight, because that's what we're seeing here down in Detroit.
Man, I think, in Atlanta, when you get to the NBA, bro, it's like the American dream. We've all dreamed about being in the league, and once it finally happens, you kind of gravitate toward the guys who you play with. You become this huge fraternity, and everything that you do, it has something to do with the guys around you that you play with. And if it's not that way, then it's kind of hard to be successful. So we all went over each other's houses. We all hung out together. We did everything together, go out to eat. So to hear Teague and where he's at today and podcasting, he's doing a hell of a job with the 520 podcast. Man, I'm just so proud of him. And, every time I'm watching, it's some way, somehow, my name always comes up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we definitely had a great run, bro. And just that tight niche that we had together. It wasn't just on the court. It was mostly a lot of things that we did was off the court. Yeah.
Let's segment and shift a little bit, man. You guys are obviously watching the NBA Finals. You got the OKC Thunder going against Indianapolis Pacers, another ABA2 NBA team, the small market team. Seems like that's what you got, but SGA is electric. Why is, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, why is he so good right now? Either one.
Well, I'll say my reason why I think he's so good, man, if you look at his body, how like lean and kind of shredded he is, like he's in elite shape when you watch him. So he's not a guy, I think, that you can kind of wear down in the series. I feel like he kind of gets stronger, and I feel like that first game that they lost, it just hit a switch in their mind, like, all right, let's lock in. And I don't think the Pacers going to win another game. That's just me, though.
I agree. I agree with you, too, Joe. I just think they play so well together. Like y'all was just talking about a niche.
Yeah.
That's what they talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, they talk about, man, us. I mean, so when you get a team talking about us and not I mean, that make all the difference in the world. I like him because shot selection.
Right.
He shoot in between.
Yeah.
What make you consistent? In between.
Yeah.
He shot in between.
Yeah.
I shot in between. I shot 51% career because I shot in between and I was able to go to the holes. That's what he reminds me of. And the guys are following him, so the guys are picking up. It's kind of like we talk about ISO. We talk about helping. You got to help if he got you one-on-one.
Yeah.
Now, if I throw it to you, you got to make it to make him still more effective, or they're going to double team him all night and stuff. So that's what I see with Shai, man. He's special. I'm like ISO, man. I don't think they're going to win another.
Is that the dawn of a new dynasty, the new dynasty in OKC?
It can be.
It's
if you
tough
can
nowadays to get a dynasty. This 7 years in a row is parity now.
Yeah, but if you got to be able to keep all them guys together, that's going to be the toughest thing. Because when you win, we all win. Everybody gets paid. So I don't know if you're going to be able to keep all those guys together in that small market. But they definitely got the makings of a dynasty, man. I love watching them play that deep. They don't just play 5 guys.
12
deep. Hey. And you never know who's going to explode. Obviously, Shai going to be consistent with his 30-plus a night. But you got so many other guys who can come off that bench and affect the game in a way that you probably hadn't game planned for.
I mean, think about it, y'all. It's a new era.
Yeah.
Ain't no Curry. Ain't no Durant. Ain't no LeBron. Yeah. They all going to be an X, like me and Joe one day, ex-NBA.
My favorite player in the NBA is Jalen Williams. I cannot get enough J-Dub. Been watching him for about 3 years now, coming out of Santa Clara. Can you talk about his game? He's another guy that likes to shoot in between. He's a guy that had a 6'11" wingspan when he was 5'11".
Wow.
But he's super duper humble. He may be the best defender on the wing in the NBA. I see him and SGA as the first tandem that I would even venture to say, when it's all said and done, that you could compare them to MJ and Scottie. Give me a little bit on J-Dub.
I like J-Dub. I think he's an awesome talent. He can go off the bounce, which makes him even, more dangerous. He's not just a catch-and-shoot guy. And like you say, defensively, he's one of the best ones. They got a lot of guys defensively. Lou Dort, Wallace, Wiggins. They got a lot of guys who lock up defensively and can make it tough for you. So, but I think he gives Shai a break, too. Like, he's that counterpart that Shai needs to be effective. And whenever J-Dub plays well, they are almost unbeatable.
Unstoppable.
Yeah.
No doubt. I do want to rewind back a little bit. You mentioned the Hawks. Do you remember playing here in Detroit?
Yeah, I had some good games.
Do you remember a good heckler?
A good heckler?
Yeah, behind the visitor's bench?
I don't remember.
Well, I would like to apologize for all the hell I gave you.
Definitely was this guy.
I gave you a lot of hell for a lot of years. But I do want to go back to the ISO game. Michael Beasley and LeBron James are making a lot of news right now over their one-on-one battles. Beasley saying he's the best in the world. You willing to venture?
And what does that mean?
Just at one-on-one. I want to know who would win that matchup from the ISO man himself.
Between who?
Between LeBron and Beasley.
Look, man.
Who's reffing the game?
I don't know. I hear the stories just like you guys hear the stories, but y'all ain't, man, listen, LeBron ain't answering to none of this, man. That man way up here somewhere.
True.
He's not paying attention to that.
True.
You got to understand his legacy, and then you understand Beasley's legacy. Yeah. What we talking about?
No doubt. No doubt about it. Had to ask.
He asked the question, not me.
Yeah.
I had to put him on the spot. Look, check this out. That's a new camera right here. Look, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll come back, get a message in from Merch. We'll have some more fun with these questions. I'm going to ask you about your favorite teammates as well as favorite places to play. But let's get a message in from Merch.
Yeah, I know you're tired of wearing that same old Detroit sports merch. Make sure you go to the website right now, shop.woodwardsports.com, and get your new merch, whether it's Pistons, Tigers, Red Wings, Lions. It doesn't matter. Shop.woodwardsports.com is where you need to go. Hoodies, tees, hats, all guaranteed to turn heads. People going to be asking you where you get that merch. You just tell them, shop.woodwardsports.com. That's shop.woodwardsports.com. We'll be right back.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak. Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Baligian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media, X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasta salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
colors of summer are here, and Woodward Sports is all over the Motor City with the White Claw Tigers Tour. Come party with Woodward Sports, watch the Tigers, and sip on some White Claw all summer long. The best bars, big giveaways, live events, and a party that only Woodward Sports can throw. Ain't no party like a Woodward Sports party. Join us Friday, June 13th from 5 to 7 with the heavyweights at Nemo's in Corktown for the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw and Ven Johnson. Head to woodwardsports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. Woodwardsports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at woodwardsports.com.
Oh, yeah, everybody. It is Feldman Chevrolet time. And let me tell you guys something right now. Feldman Chevrolet is Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer with 5 locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing. This month's specials include a 2025 Silverado 1500 Crew lease for only $149 per month, or the 2026 Equinox LT lease for just $209 per month. Come follow at feldmanchevrolet.com, and again, 5 convenient locations.
Gentlemen, we like simple stuff, like an Iceman finger roll. We like uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's haircuts for men. Walk in, sign in, and before you know it, you're handsome and clean. Lady Jane's open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
It is wicked awesome, but I will tell you that nothing simple about that finger roll unless you're George Iceman Gervin. Welcome back. Second hour of the show, man. Having some fun with ISO Joe as well as George the Iceman Gervin, new head coach of the Detroit Amps, as well as star for the Detroit Amps. Excited to have you guys here. Talk to me about some of these battles that you had in the 70s and 80s for these scoring titles that you had. 4 scoring titles, finished top 5 in MVP going 4 times, runner-up twice. But the scoring battles, legendary. I heard a story about David Thompson and you, and I want to say somebody had a flight and thought they won, and the other person ended up playing later that night, and they ended up winning. Like, talk about those scoring battles, because everybody thinks these 70-point games are something new. They're not.
No, I mean, it is. It's a good battle. I mean, to win my first scoring title, you know, I was leading the league in scoring all the way to the last game, and David was neck and neck with me. So David, here in Detroit at the Cobo, another ABA guy, special. You know, we call him David, the Giant Killer. He was real special, y'all. I mean, this kid can just flat out play. Skywalker. But we played the last game of the season. David and them played in the afternoon, and I played that night. I think that gave me an advantage because I knew what I needed. So David scored 73 points. And David he broke Wilt Chamberlain's record for a quarter with 32. So everybody called me because I played that evening in New Orleans to play my last game. So the press called, hey, David scored 73. You need 59 in order to get, you know, the scoring title back. Man, I'm so thankful. My coach was Doug Moe and the teammates that I had. So Doug Moe went over into the locker room and said, hey, y'all, that little crap, man, that they did over in Detroit, man, and his best friend was Larry Brown. Larry Brown was coaching. Okay. So he said, we want to get Ice the scoring title. So all my guys agreed. So first quarter went out. First quarter, I missed my first 6 shots, called timeout. Man, hey, man, let's don't even worry about it, man. And all my guys say, oh, my Ice, man, we don't want to hear that, man. Come on, man. So first quarter, you know, we started back, I got 20. Second quarter, I got 33. I only needed 59. So in 33 minutes, I got 63 points to win my first scoring title.
Man. Hey.
Shout out. I knew the story. I wanted you to tell it, man. Wow. My dad told me that. Shout out to Pops. Stand up.
Mr. K on that team? Larry
Yes, sir. Larry passed me a few of them.
Joe, let me ask you a question. You made a couple All-Star games, but in 2009, 2010, that All-NBA, it clicked. What about the 2009-2010 season was different than the ones before, a couple after?
Man, I don't know. I think just having the confidence to come out and try to lead a young Hawks team, you know, in the right direction. we played against some tough teams, man. That Boston Celtics team with Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Rondo. The first year they came together, defensively, KG, he won Defensive Player of the Year that year, but he anchored the defense by himself. Like I'm talking about he could switch out on guard, sit down in that chair and guard, and in the paint, you wasn't getting nothing easy. So, and we had a chance to play against them in the playoffs that year. We was an 8 seed, they was a 1 seed. We took them 7 games. Shout out to the ATL crowd. That home court advantage for us was awesome for a young team like us, and we was able to push them dudes to the brink. And that's one of the most fondest memories that I have from playing in Atlanta, because nobody gave us a chance and to push the champions. It was only one other team. After we took them 7 games, they played Cleveland with LeBron. They took them 7 games. And then from that, they won the championship in 6 or less. So it was an awesome run, man. It was an awesome run.
While you're talking KD in the first hour of the show, a lot of talk in Detroit. Stephen A. Smith said he liked the fit. What about you? How would you think KD would fit with this current Pistons team going into next season?
I think KD would fit seamlessly. KD is not a volume shooter. You know what I mean? He's a guy who plays the game the right way, and he makes the game look easy, man. I mean, at his height, 6'11", 7 foot, shooting that tall, we call that tall man jump shot, you ain't blocking that. And to get a chance to play with a guy like K, who's a distributor scorer, guy who's can make guys around him better. I think that's probably only one thing they missing is another scorer, another guy who can really put up points. I thought this young Piston team was awesome in the playoffs against the Knicks, man. I was glued to the TV. Hey, look, I even had them upsetting the Knicks. You know what I mean? That's just how much faith I had in them. I like the grit and grind that they play with. So I'm looking forward to this Piston team making a huge jump next season. If they get KD, it's going to put them in a whole nother stratosphere.
Well, I love to hear that. There's definitely a race here in Detroit to win the next championship after we've been starved for so long. And I got a question for Doc here, but before I get to it, I need to let everyone in the chat know that these two legends right here signed this, George Gervin and Joe Johnson. This is going to somebody who wins today, so get your super chats in. But, Doc, I got to ask you.
Okay.
We got a race here in Detroit for the next championship. Are you guys going to be able to keep the Detroit Amp healthy enough to be the first championship here in, 2 decades?
I am confident. I talked to the boys today. Gervin's coming out of retirement. I'm coming out of retirement. We ain't coming out for no reason. So it's championship or nothing.
There we go.
They have an owner that's same attitude. To be honest, I'm with these guys. I've been with a lot of guys over 20 plus years, let's say. They have a better mixture already. You know, I always talk about mental, right? All these guys can play basketball. It's how they play together, how they play and work together and appreciate each other. You see some isolation of players in locker rooms that turns the team off, right? The best players don't always win the game. We've seen that. We've seen that a lot in the NBA. It's the guys that know how to play together. They all know how to play basketball.
Yeah.
They all have been there. It's how they play together, how they respect the coach, and obviously Gervin earns the respect by just showing up, but he's also got the underlying talent. And now that they have a medical team that's behind them to keep these ex-NBAers healthy, which we've worked with, I think the Amps may be the next championship in the Detroit area.
Thank you, Doc.
You guys coming for practice today, Joe. You said you guys got after it a little bit, you know what I'm saying, putting together some space, getting some sweat. What was it like? How was it feel?
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, it was.
Nice.
I enjoyed it. Because for us, we just want to get our legs together, run some of our plays, let them see them work, and I get back on Doc. And what I like about Doc is the detail guy. You know, Doc will check your hamstring. Doc will check your
Achilles.
Yeah. I mean, and as we get older, these are the things that need to be checked.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like when we were young, we got physicals, and now we're old, we need checkups.
Yeah.
He's able to give us that. I've been with Doc since 2000. He was my coach. You know, I coached here in Detroit Dogs in year 2000, and we won the championship. So Doc was my doctor then. So, I trust what he does. I know he's going to be on top of these guys to help and remind them of where they need to be reminded. And sometimes, because we get so locked into the game sometimes that we forget some of the things we need to do, like the stretching and all that. So I'm proud of Doc, man, that he's a part of us now.
I'll do you one better. I was actually at that game with Kwame Kilpatrick.
Oh, is that right?
That was my senior year in high school. I remember that game. It was a Cobo.
Yeah, it's Cobo.
Yeah, it was a Cobo. I was there for sure. All right, let's have some fun. 2 questions. You guys have named some guys that you've played with in terms of being on the same team, man. I think everybody's curious. Who is your favorite teammate? If it's a couple, you could just name one.
I go with Dr. J.
That's
my
cheating.
first. Yeah, I go with Dr. J. I started with Dr. J and I finished with Michael Jordan. So
1985?
84, 85, 86. That was my last year as a pro.
I'll say Jadero Pargo, who is an assistant coach for the Indiana Pacers. We played college ball together. We played in Atlanta for 2 years together. And I would say Josh Smith and Sean Marion. And I'm saying these guys, Josh Smith and Sean Marion, these probably 2 teammates that only ever came to Little Rock and hung out with me. You know what I mean? So, you know, it ain't a lot of guys have been to Little Rock. So these guys have been to Little Rock, been to events I've had in Little Rock, and you know, for me, man, that means everything, bro.
That's a big name, Sean Marion.
Yeah,
man.
Sean Marion he got people from Arkansas. So it was kind of fitting, you know. It's funny how things kind of work out, because every time I go somewhere, I run into somebody who has people from Arkansas. He's like, yeah, man, I got people from Arkansas. And I thought he was lying, but he used to come down every summer in the off season, hang out, go see his people. So, you know, that was pretty cool.
People don't understand that too, because, you know, being from Detroit, you know, a lot of people were scared to come to Detroit.
Yeah.
When I played, him like, yo, man, come to the city. All right. You know, they give you the all right. That all right never comes. So I definitely understand that. With this landscape, you guys are watching, you talked about it, the game's turned over a little bit. It's a new era, and it's in good hands. If you were playing today, what would be one of the teams or one of the guys you would want to team up with?
Wow, man, we just thought about KD.
Yeah.
You know, because KD scored just as effective as I did. We didn't score the same way, but we were both effective. And to be able to play with a guy like that, play with Joe, I mean, Joe don't get enough credit.
No.
You know, when you start talking about size and being able to do what he did, and we all talk about LeBron and how big he was. Come on, y'all.
LeBron can't dribble that low.
Man, come on, man. Y'all ain't getting this brother enough props, man. He was real special. So, you know, to be able to have some guys like that and play with, man, and make the game easier.
Yeah. One thing I will say, and I'll let Anson, you know, jump in here, is watching back in that era, like when you played, when I was in the league, those games were competitive. Those games were fun.
Man.
You respected the skill. I respect the skill now, but it was just different. You know, it was different watching, man.
A lot different.
Well, you talked about who you'd like to play with. Who did you hate playing against the most? One player.
Who did I hate playing against most? I ain't gonna even tell y'all no tell. I still hate playing against him. Still to this day, Reggie Evans, man.
Okay.
Hey, listen, let me tell you something. Reggie, one of them dudes, beat you up and then try to help you up off the floor. Oh, my bad. You all right? Man, he wasn't them type. He wasn't them type of dude.
I think of Dennis Johnson. It was tough to play against, and Michael Cooper.
Okay.
Coop,
hell of a defender.
Coop still gives
a
you.
hell of a defender.
Coop still gives you the business.
Oh yeah, man. Who say, yeah, I just got 40 on me, man, but we won.
So, Joe, you're working with Shannon Sharp, Ocho Cinco on a program called Nightcat.
Yeah.
And you and I talked about this recently when we were talking about the James Harrison and Ocho
the fight,
square up. Just tell us a little more about what you guys are doing. I've caught a little bit of it. Tell us where we can watch it, and tell us what the transition's been like. How do you enjoy being a podcaster off the court?
Man, you know what? It's funny. I was just telling people the other day, man, I hadn't talked as much in about 20 years. You know, I'm a quiet fella, and I think it comes from just being an only child. You know, I don't have no brothers and sisters, so you know, I knew how to make fun by myself, you know what I mean? But this opportunity presented itself, and I've been a fan of these guys since they've started, so I was like, man, I just kind of fit in seamlessly because I've been watching them for so long. I just kind of knew my lane and where to fit in at. But we mainly talk about basketball when they have me on during the playoffs, and now they talking about even bringing me on for football, so we'll see what happens.
Man, before there was Victor Wembanyama, before there was David Robinson, before there was any of those guys, the original OG superstar of San Antonio Spurs was this guy right here. Talk about why you always move forward. And what I mean by that is Carmelo talked recently on his podcast, and he's one of the ones that champions you the most. You always reach out to the players that came after you, give them little tidbits here. If you see them in person, you'll drop a call. If you feel the need to help out. Why is it that you drop these gems and these pearls and these windows? I'm pretty sure he's probably dropped something on you over time as well. What do you feel you need to be able to do that?
I mean, it's important, man. I mean, I always had this attitude, man. It's our responsibility as older men is to teach younger men to be better men. You know, we live in a world, man, that, you know, especially for them in this era, man, the eye is always on them, man. And, you know, we want to remind them of that. And then you got a short window. You think you got more time than you think.
Man.
I always try to remind guys, you ain't got as much time as you think. So while you got this opportunity, man, take full advantage of it and, you know, give it 100%, man. And then how you handle yourself, that guy following you would be a good example for him. So that's what I believe in, man. You know, I've been with the Spurs, man, almost 50 years, man. So, you know, I saw David's career. You know, I saw Tim's career, you know, and now I'm watching Wemby's career.
What do you see from him? He just cut his hair off. I think the league's in trouble.
Oh, well, I mean, you know, each one teach one, man. So, you know, he's trying to find his own identity. He's only, 21 years old and stuff, man. So, you know, whatever he chooses to do, man, I just hope he really realizes what he's doing before he do it and, you know, just be himself. So I'm real proud of it.
I appreciate that,
Yeah,
Doc. What you got over there in that Iron Man shirt? Have you received the massage yet?
No. No, but I got to go a little further. Again, Ice being humble. I mean, you're talking about just the players. You got to know the impact this man's made in San Antonio. You know, I said it on the show the other day that the finger roll, his NBA career is a far second to the human being that he is. I mean, he's got charities, academies, schooling, kids that, you know, tough upbringings, and this man is how many years you been doing the school now?
I have a charter school that I had for 30 years in San Antonio, and I got a charter school in Phoenix.
Yeah, and how many
we
kids
we build retirement homes for low income.
So you're talking about making an impact. You're making an impact at the youth level, at people that don't know what they're going to do the next day. He puts a bright light onto that. I mean, that's the human. I mean, when you say when he reaches out to the other NBA, when Jalen Rose wanted to do something here, who do you reach out to?
100%.
The man sitting here.
Yeah.
He's done more things on the back end that people don't know, and he's so humble. And you hear me talk about, you know, Tiger Woods doing stuff. He's been involved with Tiger Woods too with some of the stuff he's done. You know, there's an influence here. There's a reason why we've been friends for 25 plus years. The human he is, the influence he's had on my kids has been pretty good.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and that laugh is genuine. And you can sense the laughter that you feel from this man. And the cool thing about that is when I was younger, starting my foundation, my charity, you notice that when you give, it doesn't get publicized a lot.
Yeah.
So to be able to continue to do it as long as you've done it, that means you were doing it for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
All the right reasons. It gets tiresome. It gets hard.
Man.
Raising money, trying to get people to come over here or do this. So to stay in it as long as you can, I really respect that and appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I want to put him on the spot.
Uh-oh,
Because we put Kenny Anderson on the spot Monday at Mark Wahlberg's Celebrity Classic. Shout out Detroit Golf Course. Who would you rather have, Brunson or Cade? And I'll tell you what he said.
Okay, Brunson or Cade?
I'm taking
Basketball-wise?
I'm taking Cade.
I'm taking Cade.
He said Brunson, but he said Cade can get there.
He's a smaller guard, though.
No.
He's speaking from a smaller guard.
Okay,
He's
I
a
get that.
smaller
Think
guard.
about basketball intellect, and which I think both of us have it. Brunson hold on to the ball too long.
Yes,
I ain't
sir.
gonna be sitting on there waiting on no brother to just keep dribbling until he get free. Then when he gets stuck, he throw it
I
to
love
me.
it.
Throw you that firecracker.
Joe, last question I'm going to ask you is the durability and how you lasted in this league so long. Like, you legitimately took 2 years off, and then you came back in the NBA, and now you're still playing at a high level in the Big Three, at a high level. You know, what do you attribute that durability, that strength, and being able to last so long? What have you done that might be different than a guy that makes it 11 years or 12 years, right?
bro. I like I said, I have a genuine love and passion for the game, so I don't cheat it. And I like staying in shape, bro. I enjoy being in, top shape, taking care of myself. I had a long family history of health issues, so to alleviate that for me is just police myself. You know what I mean? Stay on top of it. I know, I don't know about you guys, but kind of diabetes kind of running my family. I'm not waiting for no doctor to tell me, hey, you need to get 2 miles in a day walking. Man, I already do that. So, it's just policing myself, trying to stay on the right track. And that way, when I do get these calls, kind of like when I got the call to go play in Boston on a 10-day contract, bro, I was sitting on the couch. I was sitting on the couch chilling, but I work out every day religiously. So, boom, I just hopped up off the couch, went and did my physical. Next thing you know, they throw me in the game. So it's little things like that, man. So if I wasn't taking care of myself, I wouldn't have been prepared for that opportunity.
So, yeah, the policing himself is something we really push. I say look in the mirror.
Yeah.
You got to look in the mirror. Stop making the excuses. You want to be successful, you get up in the morning, you do your routine. You take it to the next level.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. I mean, Joe, I'm not going to say his age, but he's a little on the back nine of his career. But this is a major message from a medical standpoint. How does he do it? He's done it every day. He didn't find January 1st came and I worked out for January and then I fell off again. He's committed all the time. So, and this is a guy that could easily fall off and just said, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know what I love about basketball, like basketball players, you guys, you all play, how do I explain this? Football, you play one position.
Yeah.
Like in basketball, even though there's a position for you, you on both sides of the court, you're in it all the time. You guys are in film, watching at the same time, coach at the same time. So your guys' love for the game is different.
Yeah.
You guys still know the game. You're locked in. George can tell you everything about the game as if he was still playing. Football is kind of like, I watch my position, and then as you fade away from the game, I might watch a little bit less and less and less and less. So to listen to you break it down like that, I'm like, I need to start watching some more film on football. I gotta start watching some more
Hey, look,
film.
in Atlanta, man, I play in flag football leagues. Anything to keep me going, bro. I love it. I love football. So yeah, I get out there playing the flag football league, and I have a hot yoga studio in Atlanta. I gather a lot of members who are athletic or who still have that athletic ability and want to play. And, man, we go out there, put a team together. We made it to the championship game last year.
You started playing wide out? Who's the QB?
I'm playing tight end, wide out, but you know what I mean? We had our QB kind of fluctuated. We looking for somebody consistent, but if we'd have had a pretty good quarterback, man, we'd have won it. But, yeah, we have fun, man. It's been a lot of fun doing it.
That sounds like the name of my career, looking for that quarterback that can do it.
Speaking of having fun, I want to have a little bit of fun to end things off here. Of course, we got the prize wheel, which Pete's going to cue up here in a minute. But before that, Pete, I want to ask the doc and these two legends who they're watching Game 3 with tonight. You got that one ready for me?
Oh, hang on, buddy. I didn't know you wanted that. Hang on.
You guys can be watching tonight, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we're going to give you guys an opportunity here. Going to go in the cafeteria. And you get a chance to choose from one of these tables here. And maybe up on the big screen here.
He would have to send it.
I can't do that.
Okay. Yeah, it's a little small there. I don't know if you guys can see.
That's too small. I mean, I can read them all. Table A is NBA TNT guys. Table E is KD, Kyrie, Giannis, Victor Wembanyama, Luka, and Kawhi. That's a lot. I'm not reading the rest of those names.
You got the YouTubers. You got the WNBA table. You got the GOATs. You got LeBron and Michael table.
You got the Rock back there?
You got the Hollywood superstars table.
I see Shaq and Kenny up there. I'll probably sit and watch it with Shaq and Kenny. Yeah. Or who is that? Who is B? Is that Jordan and LeBron?
Yes, sir.
I'll probably watch it with MJ and LeBron just to kind of get their takes.
Would that be an awkward table?
Would
that be an awkward table?
No, I don't think so. A lot of respect. I think obviously both guys truly respect each other, but the highest scoring guys in the game, two of the highest scoring guys in the game in NBA history, I would definitely like to hear their take, on this series and this Game 3 tonight for sure.
I'm sitting at table D, and I want to ask KG and Carmelo, what the hell happened that night?
KG and
KG and Carl. What the hell happened that night? Because I've heard both stories. I want to hear them side by side and see if the story holds up. That's where I was sitting.
Yeah, I got shit
That's the
with
best
Shaq,
part.
man. Shaq, my guy, man. And Charles, man, I don't see what he gonna say about Charles, man, because they always talking about each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great chemistry.
I think I'd have to go TNT table as well, man.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's get this wheel going so
Yeah,
we can get
Pete,
these legends up
Go
out
ahead
here,
and put
man.
it up there and just go ahead and spin it, my friend.
We spin
Hang
the
on,
wheel
buddy.
and
I
basically
still have
whoever
to
wins
transfer
we
it
give
over.
the chat.
Hang on.
We
Okay.
mail all that stuff out.
Doc, who you watching that game with?
That's between those
Kiddo.
two. I think I want to sit with Michael and LeBron. I like to hear the.
I'm surprised. I feel like Ricky be over at the WNBA table like a smart man. There you go. There he is.
Chilling. I'm definitely over there chilling, enjoying the game. And
What about you, Maz? Where are you sitting?
I'm sitting. I'm table hopping.
There you go. Smart man. Smart man.
Okay.
Here we go.
We'll go ahead and spin it. Just go ahead and spin it, Pete.
All right, buddy boys. Here we
While
go,
it's
guys.
spinning, I have to say, it is truly an honor to have you both in here. As much as we had to battle you, I was always a fan of the way you played the game.
Thank you.
And Mr. Gervin, you were one of the very first people out as a young NBA fan. It's truly a pleasure and an honor to have you both in here.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
very
thank
much.
you, Doc, for making it happen.
We got
And
Randall.
Rando Smalls, who actually just got in here, his super chat.
my
George
goodness.
Gervin, the legend. I feel like I'm 5 years old
Guess
today.
what, 5-year-old Rando Smalls.
Very happy that's going to Rando. Got the dual legend autograph here. We really appreciate that as well, guys.
Dual legend autograph. Look, man, we appreciate you guys for coming into the studio. Thank you, Dr. Pierce, for bringing these two legends to the
amp
studio.
schedule. They're going to be in Detroit on
July 20th.
July 20.
Yeah.
All right, get your tickets.
We'll have all the information by then. We'll put a graphic out, and we'll keep putting it on there. The logo is fire. I love how it has
man.
elements of the Pistons.
Yeah.
Got elements of the
That
Pistons.
black and gold, baby.
Hang on, guys.
Yeah, that's good, man. That was my high school colors. That was
I'm
my high
gonna have to
school
go purchase
colors.
one
Black
of
and
those.
gold.
Took you back. Man, we can't thank you guys enough for coming to the studio, man.
Appreciate
Spending
it.
some time with us, man. Spending some time with our viewers, man. It was a legendary conversation, man. Thank you so much, and good luck in everything you do. God bless you and your family.
Thank you, man.
Thank you
Thank
very
you, man.
much.
Thank you.
This is Woodward Sports, man. This is what we do, man. Bringing legends to you. On behalf of Anson, Wells, Tom Mazaway, Ricky, and Pete. We'll see you guys later.